It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Boop. This gem of a gaming monitor is my Yamakasa Cat Leap Q270 that I bought eons ago. I actually don't know how long ago it was that I bought it. I know at one point it was paired with my beautiful GTX 580 that I did purchase new around 2010-ish. So it's been around at least that long. And the reason I bring this up is that this is the first time that I ever experienced 1440p gaming, which at the time, you know, back then, 1440p was not as common as it is now. And if you want to get your hands on a 1440p gaming monitor, it was a bit pricey. And I was in college and I didn't have that much money. But luckily for me, there was a nice Korean company, Yamakasa, that I think that's how you pronounce it, that sold these Cat Leap monitors that had LG, B-tier LG panels in them. And as long as you're okay rolling the dice on possibly getting a dead pixel or 10, you could pick one up. Also, the stands that they came on were garbage tier, but I didn't care. I was just happy having a 1440p monitor then. Now, luckily for me, the one that I got actually didn't have any dead pixels, and it actually still works. The problem is it only has like a DVI connector. There's no display port, so yeah, couldn't use it forever. Also, it was only 60 hertz, which was fine at the time, but I wanted better. Now, to me, 1440p is like the sweet spot. It looks miles better than 1080p in my opinion, and it's easier to drive than 4K. And it's where I've always gamed, at least since I've had this thing, other than on like gaming laptops on smaller displays. But after purchasing this monitor, I really never went back to 1080p. And I actually used this thing all the way up until I bought an ROG Swift PG279Q in 2017. And that was the first time that I ever experienced 1440p high refresh rate gaming. And this was as good as it got. At least I thought so. Thank you to Thangs for sponsoring this episode. Every now and then, when I create something on the channel that I like, that I think you might also find useful, I like to upload it. However, many times after I've done this, I've gotten comments saying you should switch your hosting site because the one you're currently using isn't always the best experience. Well, Thangs is here to help. Thangs is a platform for independent engineers, product designers, and 3D CAD enthusiasts and hobbyists. Thangs helps you find things with ease, with over 1.6 million models and growing indexed in their database. With Thangs, you don't need to jump through hoops to find what you're looking for. Even if you don't know what exactly it is, if you have a model that's somewhat similar, you can upload it to Thangs and let their geometric search figure it out for you and find similar models that you can use in your project. They even have models that are available as augmented reality files. Whether you're looking to find a model or share a model, Thangs is here to make your life easier, so click the link in the description below and start exploring today. That is until BenQ sent me one of their new Mobius EX3415R ultra-wide gaming displays, and this thing is shattered. It shattered everything I thought I knew about gaming displays. I've seen what 21:9 aspect ratio gaming's like, and I'm never going back. This is the BenQ Mobius EX3415R ultra-wide curved gaming monitor. It's a 34-inch IPS display with a resolution of 3440 by 1440, giving an aspect ratio of 21:9. The Mobius EX3415R has a curvature of 1900R, a refresh rate of 144 Hz, a 1 millisecond moving picture response time, and a 2 millisecond gray-to-gray response time. This monitor is compatible with AMD FreeSync, and although there's no mention of G-Sync compatibility, I was able to enable G-Sync on my system, and gaming and the pendulum test all looked like everything was working properly, so although it doesn't say that it's compatible with G-Sync, you might as well turn it on because at least it looks like it's working to me. The Mobius EX3415R does come with built-in audio that actually isn't the worst I've ever heard. It's definitely better than my Asus Swift and my Asus TUF gaming monitor, but it does fall short of my Bose Mini SoundLink that I normally use. But in a pinch, it'll get you by. As for color accuracy, the EX3415R claims 98% coverage of the P3 color gamut, but in testing, I was only able to show 96% coverage of the P3 color gamut, but that did translate to 100% coverage of the sRGB color gamut. For connectivity, the monitor has two HDMI version 2.0s, one DisplayPort 1.4, one USB Type-B upstream, and two USB 3.0 downstream ports. On paper, this is actually a pretty solid monitor. It's Visa certified display HDR 400, it's got high refresh rate, it's an IPS display, it's got accurate colors, good response time, and the speakers aren't garbage tier. However, there is one downside, and that's the price. This thing comes in at 1,000 US dollars, which definitely isn't the cheapest ultrawide on the market. That being said, if you want all the bells and whistles offered by the EX3415R and the price doesn't scare you, it's a solid gaming monitor with good color accuracy. And for me personally, being that I occasionally edit some videos and I do a lot of gaming, this will be my primary display going forward, with my two Asus monitors being my secondary monitor, which means that I have tons and tons of space for activities. But we came here to game, so let's test it out. So this is what I want to do. This is my Nexlo little racing seat that I have set up. You've probably seen it in a video once where I had it hooked up to that TV. But normally I use this with my VR headset, which is awesome for me. Problem is I had some friends that have tried this and the VR headset made them a little queasy. So what I want to do is kind of create one of those old school arcade racing chairs where the monitor is mounted like right directly in front of me. And honestly, the easiest way to do this would be to buy like a monitor mount, clamp it to this, probably right here where this wheel is, and just put the monitor up there. But that's way too easy. We're going to try to design ourselves something and see if we cannot print something out that'll hold that monitor right in front of our faces and see if we can do some racing without breaking it or the monitor. So this is what I've ended up with, and for the most part it's pretty simple. We have a VESA mount on the top that has 3 tubes coming down. We have 3 little T connectors that tie the top structure of the VESA mount into these 2 legs coming down that go to these 4 feet that's going to clip on to the chair itself. So the steering wheel is normally right here, and hopefully this is enough to hold up our monitor. The only fear that I do have is that in compression, I think we'll be fine to transfer the load to the chair, but with the monitor hanging off the front, I fear that it's going to pull it forward, and if we pull this too far forward, eventually it's going to just break. So what I've done is added this little tie down area and this backbone so we can add a guide wire or string here, and that way we can have a guide string that comes off the back here, ties into the chair, and we just got a little bit of a tension member to keep everything nice and straight. And hopefully that'll mean that we can play some Dirt Rally 2.0. Okay, I got it on there. I need to try to get in here without breaking it. Okay, that was somewhat expected. That's why I had these second ones printed and ready, but how am I going to get in here without breaking everything I ever owned? Guess we're just going to try it again. Oh, we made it farther than last time. It's so terrifying. Careful. Phase 1, we're in. This is not recommended. So what happened with the yellow legs is I printed them standing straight up, so the layer lines are basically going along with it, so I had a feeling they're going to break. That's why I printed these blue ones. I printed the blue ones laying down so the layer lines kind of go throughout the whole deal a lot farther, which gives them a little bit more strength. I still have fear, though, after we get going, that all the shaking and the feedback from this is just going to cause it to break, but I like how this looks so far. There's only one way to find out. I got to try to race and be ready to catch this, because I don't want this to break. Oh, jeez. It's actually holding together pretty good. It's not too wobbly. It's hard to tell if the car that's wobbling or if it's the monitor. Don't know if I'd trust it long term though. I haven't played this game without VR in a long time. This is definitely better than just playing on a monitor on the desk. This is so cool. I'm surprised how stable it seems, because the wheel has force feedback and it's only mounted on this little metal bar, but it doesn't really seem to be bouncing too much. Now it's hard to tell between what's jumping around in the car and what's bouncing on the actual wheel itself, but so far it's holding strong.
60 over finish, into crest, to stop.
I'm bad, but for what this is, it worked. I mean, pretty impressed. I thought it would for sure break again. And I did have somebody ask me when I posted the teaser picture of this if I would make the model available for people that have this gaming chair or want to just customize it to fit whatever they have, and I will. I did make a Thangs account, and I'll put all these models on that Thangs account, so check the description down below for a link to where these models are. Also, you'll be able to find a link for this monitor because it is actually, in my opinion, a pretty nice gaming monitor, especially for racing like this. And the color is good enough, at least for me, for good video editing. So, thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.
Opens 16.